What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Real Junkies. I am your host, Farhan, here again with my man Vito, and you see the shirt. The DCU decided second movie that we was going to get wasn't going to be Batman, wasn't going to be Wonder Woman, wasn't going to be Flash, wasn't going to be Green Lantern, wasn't even going to be fucking Cyborg. It's going to be Supergirl. And I'm cool with an unconventional approach, right? We already got the whole DCEU trying to give you all the main Justice League characters first. So I'm cool with James Gunn taking a pivot. Let's give us a character we haven't gotten a movie of yet. Cool. Here's my thing with that, though. If you're going to do that, it has to make sense. And I'm going to be real. I came into this movie with managed expectations. I didn't really know what to expect. And I'm going to be 100% honest. James Gunn, my man, could have kept this one in the vault, bro. I'm going to be so real. You could have kept
Hey, listen,
you could have kept
Kevin
this one in the vault.
Kevin Feige ain't got all hits, man.
True, he does not. And I'm not even saying that like this is gonna derail the DC universe or anything like that. I don't think first I didn't enjoy this movie, as if you can't tell. But I don't think this is like one of the worst things ever made. Like this ain't Morbius, Madam Web level. This ain't that. It's just disappointing and not really that enjoyable, but it's not like awful. But going back to your MCU example, the second movie of the MCU was The Incredible Hulk. They started out really strong with Iron Man, had like a really high Rotten Tomato score, made a bunch of money at the box office, and then Incredible Hulk came out, and it was significantly less than that, both in terms of the critic rating and how much it made box office wise. That movie did not stop the MCU from becoming what it was eventually. So just because the second movie didn't perform as well. So I'm not saying that we got to stick a fork in DC because it is. I'm just saying second movie out, swing and a miss, in my opinion.
I'll say I
and it-
didn't not enjoy it, but I also didn't hate it. Like it's just nothing to talk about, really. Like, and
yes,
that's the biggest thing. It's nothing to talk about. It was okay. Like, hey, but shout out to Heather, a guy Pong, our Black Queen.
shout
Yeah,
out to her. Shout out to her.
uh,
I'm glad we got that out the way first.
she played a purple alien, purple
Yeah, I
super
was about to
alien.
say,
Oh, one of the bandits. Yeah.
yes. Shout out to her. Glad we got our Black Queen shout out the way early because we had to start off with something positive because I don't think there's going to be much else positive to say from here on out for the rest of the review. But I'm glad we started off with something good. I'll start with a few things. One, Millie Alcock as Supergirl. Performance wise, I didn't really mind. She was cool. No problems really with the performance she gave. My problem is more so script wise. She's not a very likable character at like when this movie starts off. And granted, I like the idea of taking Supergirl and making her different just in terms of how she functions from Superman, right? She's not just a carbon copy of Superman at all. She is definitely her own person. And I was cool with that. But they kind of made her like this alcoholic degenerate a little bit to start the movie. Um, and she was, she's off world. She's not on Earth when this movie starts, and she's just drinking all the time. You can see like the movie opens with just opening shot of where she lives, and it's just junk everywhere, like just not necessarily living a very, I'll say, up to code lifestyle. She's just very going with the flow and is just kind of all over the place when this movie starts. And you start to see her journey evolve from there when she starts getting involved with what this actual movie is about, the actual plot. But the film starts off, in my opinion, she's not a very likable character. As the film grows, that starts to get better a little bit. I think the movie ends with her being a little bit more of a character that the audience can identify with a little bit more. But at first, it's just kind of like, oh, okay, so she don't got her shit together right now. That's kind of how we started. From there, everything else in this movie, not named Lobo, was terrible. And I do mean terrible.
So I think even Lobo was kind of. So this is my thing, man. I've never read any of her books. I got a few Superman books, but I've never been. I'm just getting back into comics, but this is supposed to be based off of the Superwoman. Was it Woman of Tomorrow? And I guess to like the huge comic book fans, this takes a large pivot as well.
Okay.
Like, the main villain's just a regular nigga, okay?
He's so
So,
bad. He's so
in
bad.
this, the nigga is, like, strong. So, I think one of the things that I have seen Supergirl in things though. So
Mhm,
one of the things is her being I've only seen her always being older than Clark or born before Clark,
mhm,
and Wormhole being, she gets to Earth after him. That's the only
mhm,
reason that he's older than her. But yeah, I don't think they play. They tried to do this whole she's still reeling with the death of Krypton or
yeah,
Argon City. Was it Argon? I think it was Argon. It was something with AR. Which is where she lived. She grew up.
mhm,
And I don't think they really handled what is it? The grief part of that correct. Like it wasn't like she was grieving the planet or the loss of her family. Um, she was just drinking. She coming of age child going out binging, and then she's like, "Oh well, I don't like that this happened. Mate, there's no place for me in this world. There's no place on me
yep,
on Earth." And that's for me, that's the entire story. And then to turn around, she's like, "Oh, maybe I'll go back to Earth. That's cool with me." The whole story is supposed to be, her dealing with the loss of Krypton or the city that she was from, and basically her world, everybody that she knew is gone. So it's really weird that, like I said, her behavior. Because
mhm,
in Superman, you're like, okay, well, she's off partying and shit because she's grieving. She's trying to dull the pain of
yeah.
losing it. And they try and sprinkle it in, but it just doesn't come across as it doesn't come across as grief.
Yeah, I think that's
And
really where she's kinda becomes an unlikable character for me, because I don't think this movie did a good job of connecting those 2 things, of her alcoholism and some of the, behavior you see from her at the beginning of the movie is tied to the loss of Krypton and the loss of what she knew and where she came from. I don't think in my opinion, I don't think the movie did a good job of, like, actually pushing that point of the story, which I think would have A, made her a more compelling character, and B, just would have made the story more interesting.
especially when the whole story, I mean, and they kind of just threw shit in there. The whole story really should have been her feeling sad for this little girl and the loss of her family and getting revenge or stopping her from getting revenge or something along those lines. But then it's
Mhm.
like, oh, I'm going to do all of this because my dog gets poisoned. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
they try to make this connection of like, okay, well, she cares so much about crypto because that's all she has left from her old life.
Mhm.
It's like you really don't see her connecting with crypto in those old flashbacks that they had. It's
Mhm.
like, okay, she finds him, he comes along with him, it's like, okay, what else? Like, so they
Yeah.
just don't. And I seen somebody say this. I seen a lot of reviews, and there is no connection. Like, I don't feel a connection to anyone in this film. And like to your point of Lobo, like Lobo's cool, but also like he's also kind of boring to me in this movie. And
He's
it,
not
and it
given enough to do, I'll say that.
and it that's really hard to have Lobo look boring because
Yes.
everything I've ever seen him in, comic book or animated wise, he is this larger than life character. So like when you first see him and he's like sleep at the bar after she's then beat everybody in an ass bar, it's like, okay, what? Mm, I feel like that's something that he would have woke up for.
Yeah.
That's not. And then he starts asking about some fucking guy that he's hunting. Lobo don't operate like that. He know how to get drunk, go to sleep, and then wait till everybody's gone and start asking questions.
Mhm.
So I mean, it felt like they took some liberties in it that I just don't think they paid off. So I'm not we knew this movie was gonna get bombed just for the fact that it's a female led movie. We know how the incels get, but then with it just not being that, I mean, it's just not that good of a movie, and
Yeah.
it's not that entertaining, and that's the problem. Because again, we've
Yes.
talked about this. I'm fine with the movie not being great story-wise or the acting not being great, and the acting wasn't a problem in this, but the story is just so bleh. Story,
Mhm.
dialogues, it's just not good. The acting was okay, but, a entertaining movie can make up for that. It's
Yes.
just not that entertaining. This little
Yes.
girl that they have tagging her along, I really don't care for her story that much, and I
Yeah.
wanted to because this nigga coming along killing everybody in your family, I don't even remember how she got away from that. Maybe I fucking blinked or fell asleep or some shit, but I thought she was dead too. I thought they was just setting up him as a villain. I did not need her, and she was dumb the entire time.
Yeah, she had, like, this very naive idea that she was just gonna take this dude on one-on-one and avenge her family. Basically, this movie is the plot, if you wanna call it that. This dude or there's this young girl who goes into a bar that Supergirl is at, makes this announcement that she's going to avenge her family because the opening scene in the movie, this dude Krim, I think is his name. Yep, Krim. He goes in, requests something from her parents deliver it, and something happens while they're in the house that kind of spooks him, and he ends
No,
up
no, no, no,
killing
no,
her
no, no.
entire family.
Let's talk about this.
Oh, you said we giving it
Let's
away?
talk about
Okay.
this because I wanted to bring that up. When I seen it, I say, this person that you're afraid of comes in demanding things from you. You're going to give them to him. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
Why
cool.
are you talking shit?
That was really the thing.
Why are
Yeah.
you antagonizing this nigga and you
Yeah.
want to be left alone?
To be
Now,
fair, they gave it to him and then they were like, "Just leave," but then that's when they started antagonizing
well,
him.
no, yeah, that's what but
Yeah.
the dad started talking shit.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't, this, you filthy, like, yo,
Yeah. It's like, "Bro, just stop. Chill."
Because in any situation, you know, and you start talking shit to somebody before they leave, like, hold on, man, what the fuck? Like, I'm gonna feel a type of way. And
Niggas ain't seen Menace to Society, clearly.
I don't think Krim was spooked. I think the nigga's just an asshole. And he was,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah,
think
spook probably wasn't the right word.
I just recently seen a video online of this this UPS driver delivering a package. And this dog runs up to him, he throws the package at the dog.
Mhm.
And then the homeowner runs up on him and he's like, "Yo," so he immediately throw his hands up. He like, "Yo, your dog running at me? He hasn't bit you yet."
Mhm.
First of all, the yet is a problem
Yeah,
because,
yet, like, that's kinda what I'm worried
and
about, actually.
again, this last week we've been dealing with fucking, they saying 90s, but 100-degree weather. People fed up.
Yeah.
He was waiting on a reason to be to commit to violence. And that's what Krim was doing. He was waiting on a reason to commit violence.
That's really what it
And
was.
I mean, also, I don't know what the fuck that kid was in there doing where he didn't hear all this shit going on. He was listening to music, but that shit was not like, a whole ship just landed on your yard.
He ain't hear a damn thing. Walked out his room oblivious and got popped.
And
Like,
then like
yeah.
it was just, and why swords? These niggas, what type of, because they have guns.
Yeah.
So why do they need swords? So like there's it's a it's I don't even think it's honestly, I don't think there are big issues for this movie. But there's a lot of small, very small issues. Like a lot of 'em. And that's
Yeah.
one of them. Why?
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with you. It's a lot of small issues, not necessarily like I take that back. There is one big issue I have with this movie, and it is Krim. He sucks. He is a awful villain.
No, he's just not, he just wasn't a compelling villain. You
Yeah,
know, I've said it before. I like villains being bad for the sake of being bad, which he was, but he was terrible. Like, it wasn't, I'm gonna do this because at the end of the day, he's a raider. So he has a reason to do the things he's doing. I mean, they're bad, but yeah. But he was just doing shit. Like, there was no reason, which is good
yeah.
sometimes, but he was just boring.
That's really what it
He
is. He was
fucking
boring.
sucked. He
And I
sucked.
feel like if you're gonna have a villain who is like that, like I'm just evil for the sake of being evil, they need to have like some level of charisma or something about their personality that makes them interesting to the audience. This dude had none of that. I ain't gonna lie.
He
So
does not feel like a main villain.
the race of like aliens that he's from, this dude is such a forgettable villain. When they like showed all of them together, I was looking like, okay, which one is him?
Who is it?
Like I couldn't even tell which one was the
Very
main
forgettable.
dude. Like he was that forgettable to me. Like there was never a point when he was on screen where I felt like threatened or felt like interested. Like he is by far the worst part of this movie is the villain. Followed like right under him by Ruthie, the little
Which,
girl. Yeah, those two by far are the worst parts of this movie, and in my opinion. I'm gonna give it to Lobo. Lobo is to me was the best part of this for sure. He was the character that had the most personality. He was the character that
really?
had yes. Yes, I think he was the character that had the most personality and the best performance for sure. Um,
Think he had a very again, so wanting to see Lobo for this long, especially when you have Jason Momoa, who people again, that's who I expect Lobo to look like. I don't know what the fuck they did to him. He looks ridiculous. Like he looks beefed up. So when you look at look at the nigga in Iron Man and look at him in this, I understand the makeup portion. That's cool. But even like I just didn't
Aquaman, right? Yeah,
I just didn't see any personality in this as him as Lobo.
yeah,
Outside of him saying, even him with the girl, like, oh, I think she deserves to have her revenge or whatever, which is cool, but like he was born too. Honestly, everybody in this movie was born to me. I don't
yeah,
know. I don't like so I don't know if that's you got the same thing because you said you seen personality in him. I
mhm,
didn't see it. His personality was like Lobo's an asshole, 100%.
yeah,
He's supposed to be an asshole. That's how he was. And he's a what's the word I'm looking for? What's not abrasive, where he's vulgar,
yeah,
very
yeah,
vulgar. I can't think of the word I'm looking for to describe him, but I just didn't get a Lobo feel. Like outside of the makeup,
mhm.
I just didn't get it. Like
That could be it then for me because I haven't read a lot of like comics with Lobo in them. I not that I can think of seeing any of like the DC animated projects that included Lobo. So Lobo's a character who I'm aware of. Like I knew he existed and I knew a little bit about him, but for the most part, Lobo wasn't the character that I was exposed to a lot prior to seeing him in this. So I didn't have like a preconceived notion of like this is what Lobo is supposed to look like. So I just
they
kind of took what
also
they gave me.
they also took a crucial part of him away from him in this movie.
And what was that?
His bike.
He did have a bike in this though.
He had a bike, but it
Yeah.
was like a regular fucking bike.
So, like, the bike he's supposed to have in the comics is supposed to have a little more motion than
Yeah.
that. Okay.
That fucking bike in the comics is like a horse. That nigga
Ah, okay,
whistle
got you.
bike comes.
Yeah, yeah,
Fucking bike is attacking Superman when, Lobo getting his face beat in.
yeah,
And it was just a regular bike.
yeah.
So when he's like the scene where they're trapped and he's
Mhm,
like, "Yeah, I got a plan." And then she breaks them out. He's like,
mhm.
"Yeah, that was my plan. It worked." It was like, like, the
Yeah,
fuck was this?
yeah.
Because I didn't even see him get captured. He was just there.
Yeah, yeah, the scene where they're locked up. Yeah, this movie was just storytelling wise very sloppy. And it was just boring. That's really the key critique I would
That's
have
the
of this.
biggest
It's just boring, which and I've mentioned this on the show before that my biggest pet peeve, or like one of the biggest issues I have is when I'm looking at a movie that's mid or bad, but I'm seeing like concepts or a skeleton of what could have been a good movie in there. I think connecting Supergirl's backstory to like her time on Krypton to the way she behaves now and actually making that a central part of her character could make this more interesting. I think and this is really surprising considering that DC is under the James Gunn wheelhouse. This movie has like a dollar store Guardians of the Galaxy feeling to it. And I feel like there was a lot of opportunities for world building and expanding the DCU that they didn't really take advantage of in this outside of just introducing Lobo. That was like the big, oh, look, we're adding to the universe. That
which
was
is a
really it,
waste. He was
which
a
is
waste of a
yeah.
character in this.
And it's like to me, when I don't know the whole gauntlet of cosmic villains in DC like that, but I'm willing to bet money there was somebody out there far more interesting than whoever the fuck this Crim dude was, who could have actually helped you world build here, could have made for a more intriguing villain, could have been somebody who was actually more of a threat to Supergirl, so you don't have to nerf her for half this movie. Like she spends probably about 75% of this movie without her powers.
Question. How the fuck does he even know that a red sun takes away her powers? Or I'm sorry, a green
A
sun,
green,
red
yeah,
or
I'm about
green.
to say a
How
green,
how
yeah,
does he know that?
because
Because
that was never really
Superman
established.
and Supergirl aren't known across the galaxy like that. From what we know, they're not known across the galaxy like that.
Yeah, for them to
She
know. Well, they might know. He might know that she's Kryptonian, and they might know Kryptonite weakens Kryptonians. That might
so
be the only
how?
thing. I don't know,
So
but
so
that's my
that's
only
my
explanation I got.
so that's my thing. How? That's that's not just a readily available thing.
Yeah,
You got to remember, Superman has only been Superman for what, a year?
Yeah, he's very new at this point. Yeah,
So how the fuck Lex Luthor figured it out because he's Lex Luthor and all this, and Superman is there.
yeah,
There's nothing that leads us to believe that that's
yeah.
just normal knowledge to for them to know Kryptonians lose their powers or it kills them
That is
because
true. And to be honest, he
Kryptonians,
didn't know
how do
she
they
had
have
powers
power?
at first. Yeah, I'm about to say he didn't know she had powers until at a certain point in the movie when she showed it.
And
So
then the
yeah,
nigga just knows. So he's like, "Oh,
yeah,
he's here because he knows he takes my powers away." It's like, "What? The
yeah,
fuck are you talking about?"
yeah, yeah.
And,
No
so
facts.
my uh, how is she gonna be Power Girl?
Who we talking about?
So Supergirl, she has an alternate who's Power Girl, and Power Girl is a large-chested individual.
This nigga.
So that that was my question. So, but back to Supergirl.
I feel like that was just you secretly wanting her to become Power Girl now at some point.
She has to become Power Girl at some point.
Does
It's
she have to, or is that just something
so
that you as a fan want
I
to
need the
see?
fan service. No,
That's one
I
word
mean,
for it.
honestly, I think Power Girl is usually because so Power Girl in Power whenever I've seen Power Girl in the comics, I don't know if she becomes a main continuity thing, but she's generally from a separate arc
Got you.
who comes over.
Okay.
But I think my biggest issue is again, they bill her as a party girl because the whole thing takes place during her birthday.
Yep.
And again, the story should have been about grief, which I think it wants to be, but whoever wrote this shit did a terrible job. They did a terrible job. I don't I wanna go back and read the actual comic for this now to see how much they took away from it because they did a terrible job of showing her grief of losing her people. Because she
Yeah.
did if Superman's only been Superman for a year, when she came to Earth, Superman was already Superman. So she came to Earth and immediately left and started partying. Which, yeah, when you look at it and you start thinking about it, yeah, she's probably grieving some shit. You know, this just happened. But the story is not telling you that. The story is, hey,
Yeah.
it's my fucking birthday. The only way I can get drink is if I go off to this, and they mention this in Superman. The only way I can get drunk is if I go off to a planet with a red sun.
Yeah. Where her powers don't work. And
And
that was really my biggest thing. Like this to be a Supergirl movie and for her to spend more than half of the movie, like well over 50% of the movie, she does not have her powers. Like that to me was one of the biggest mistakes writing wise for this.
it's the
And
fact that she was
another fun
still
fact.
strong sometimes.
Well, yeah, well, she could fight. Like she knew how to fight, but she didn't have her powers. Like that was
Like
my thing.
so that was the thing. When she kicked that nigga off at the beginning when she stopped him from taking the sword and she kicks him off. You know how strong you have to be able to grab a let's say a pole, spin your body around it and kick somebody off and them to fly fucking 15, 20 feet.
Well, yeah, she can be
She
strong,
still
but
has to
that's
be
different
strong.
from being Supergirl. Like there was a clear difference. There's like a very clear difference from her on that planet with the red sun where she didn't have her powers than her having her powers. There's a very clear difference.
I think there's a continuity issue with the powers in general and how they
Mhm.
used it. And then I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I know I just need to throw that in there, but you
Yeah, no,
wanted to
no,
talk
you good.
about her power, not her, yeah, her the lack of her powers in this movie.
Well, yeah, that, but like to me, that was like a big issue because you're already not really diving into the one thing that makes her a compelling character. Like just speaking in general on when I'm looking at this movie, seeing things that could have been better in a movie that just was very disappointing. You didn't do a good job of, in my opinion, as you mentioned, connecting her grief to the way she's behaving now. That I don't think that connection was really made in a good way in this film. A. B, she spends too much time in this movie not being Supergirl. Like she's just a regular person for most of this movie. It by Supergirl standards. Yes, she can do shit that probably a regular person couldn't do, but we know she's not a regular person. And I didn't come here to see a nerfed version of Supergirl. C, the villain is terrible, which in my part kind of goes with the fact that she was nerfed because you picked a villain who this villain in relation to Superman or Supergirl is a weak villain. And I'm talking about I'm not even talking about script writing. I'm talking strength wise. This is a weak villain in comparison to the strength that Supergirl and Superman have. So in my mind, if you're going to make a Supergirl movie, especially one that's taking place off world, this movie does not take place on Earth at all. So it has, like I said, that James Gunn Guardians of the Galaxy vibe to it. There's so many, and once again, I don't know the whole gauntlet of cosmic DC villains, but I know there had to have been one who was strong enough to be a reasonable threat to Supergirl that you could have used for this movie to where this villain could still be a threat to her, and we don't have to nerf her powers for half the movie in order to make this villain seem relevant. That's my problem, right? Or if you did want to do that, just make a more compelling villain and give them kryptonite or however you want to do it. But nerfing her and essentially making her
Wait a minute.
powerless for most of the movie, that was my issue.
He had kryptonite.
For one scene.
How? Again, how? And then he
For one
and he
scene, and she doesn't have her powers most of the movie. So it's not
and
like that really made she wasn't really much of a threat
well, no, I'm
for
just
most of the movie
again,
anyway.
I'm just continuity. How did he have kryptonite? And then he says, "Hey, I've been working on this and I was just waiting to use it." And it's like,
Yeah, that part wasn't believable.
what?
Yeah, that part wasn't believable.
So I mean, I think I got some of the same gripes that you have. Like I said, I'm fine with her not having her powers throughout the movie because I have to read that book to know how it occurred.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um, but from what I know, he does not have any type of power. So he is strong. He's strong as shit in this. Like he doesn't he like grab a tank out of the air that's falling on him.
Yeah, like he has
So like,
strength, but not
yeah,
we're comparing him to Superman and
no,
we're
I'm not
comparing him to
comparing him
Supergirl.
to people at all. I'm just
That's what I'm
saying like
saying. Like,
to a regular nigga, I would say he's like a I'm gonna say stronger than Captain America because he's getting punched in the face by Superman or Supergirl.
mhm,
So like he has strength, but apparently his original design is he's just a regular nigga.
yeah.
So that's why he has a sword. So like then it would make sense for her to be on a red planet and encountering this person.
Mhm,
But they're traveling throughout the universe or the galaxy. They go to I think they start off on a planet, go to a planet, it's gone. I think they go to 4 planets in this movie.
mhm,
If it had taken place on the same planet that they were on, it may have been more. And then for some reason, I don't know. Maybe the planet that they end up on, it's a green sun at night and a yellow sun during the day. Maybe if this hadn't taken place on a red sun, yellow sun planet, and all this has happened, then she gets her powers back at the end, I would understand it. But it just the way that these things happen just don't make sense because even when she's on a yellow sun planet, they don't they don't utilize she never utilizes her speed at all throughout this movie. How are
yeah,
you
that's a
being
good point.
how are you being poisoned on a yellow sun? You're on a yellow sun planet. You're not getting poisoned. Again, that's the whole reason she goes to a red sun planet is to get drunk. Alcohol is poison,
Yeah,
but whatever fucking poison they made is poison. So like I said, my biggest issue I think is going to be continuity on top of it being boring as shit.
yeah,
I didn't find any other characters compelling, including especially Ruby. She ain't really
yeah.
want no
You see, I haven't
redeeming.
even really talked about her like that. Like, there's just nothing to say.
And she's a central character in this fucking movie. Okay.
Unfortunately,
We the whole I know a lot of people really was excited to see this movie for crypto. You
she's
don't
in
see
like
this
three
nigga.
scenes.
I'm not even, he's not in this movie like that. People were excited to see this movie for Lobo. Lobo's in a couple
Also
of
in like
scenes,
he's in like five
but
scenes.
yeah, but to me, he was just boring as shit. And he's a very unboring character. That's
Yeah,
like making who's a larger than life character in the MC in the
Deadpool.
Marvel universe. Yeah, that's like making Deadpool. That's exactly who it is. He's the
Yes,
fucking galactic Deadpool. Because again, cannot die. They cut shit off, shit come back. If they can cut it off. Because again, he's strong as shit. This is somebody that normally goes up against Superman. So, and he does not have the same limitations that Kryptonians have. So him
yeah.
being captured by anyone,
Especially these things.
these motherfuckers without power,
Yeah, yeah.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and I think that's been like a constant issue I'm seeing in James Gunn DCU is taking ultra powerful characters and nerfing them. I'm noticing that it's through 2 movies so far. I'm noticing that's been a trend. And there's one thing I do
Listen,
wanna
man,
address.
Superman was I ain't gonna even get into it with
Not as
Superman.
strong as Superman should have been, but there's one thing that scares me though, going forward. And not to kick the writers well, fuck it, yes, I'm gonna
No,
kick the
kick the
writers.
writers. Kick the
I'm
fucking writers.
yeah, Imma kick the writers back in on this one.
And the director.
So the writer of this movie is also tied to the upcoming DCU Wonder Woman movie. I'm trying
They
to
got
see
another
if
Wonder Woman movie coming out?
as of right now, they do. I don't think they have, like, an official release date yet, but it's been announced that there's a Wonder Woman movie in the works.
I'm on the page now. I just seen it.
And the writer for Supergirl is tied to be one of, if not the writer for Wonder Woman. That terrifies me. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like once again, remember how I said like this is just the second movie in James Gunn's DCU, so there's no guarantee that just because this one didn't do well that DC's cooked. However, if you take the talent from this movie, especially the writing and directing talent, and decide to give them your other movies going forward, yeah, now you're scaring me. So that one I think they need to revisit. Um,
You know what this
I don't
is?
what?
This is the DC version. Highest to lowest.
Nah, this
This
is
is
not
better
that
than
bad.
highest lowest. You're
Yeah, I was about
right.
to say
This is
this ain't
better than
that
highest lowest.
bad. I was like,
But
this movie ain't that bad.
I mean though, because you had so many high caliber, and I'm not saying these actors that are in this movie are not. I'm not saying they're not as big as the actors that are in highest lowest. That's why that's
Yeah,
so disappointing.
yeah,
Because you have Denzel Washington, Jeffrey Wright. That alone should have been
yeah.
fucking just but their acting could not save that fucking movie. And that to the point of that being like this, these actors aren't that big. Jason Momoa is
Jason
a
Momoa is
big
the biggest.
actor,
Yeah,
but honestly, he's not a really a draw. He's not like, yeah, Jason Momoa's in the movie. I'm going to go see it.
yeah,
He's not that nigga.
yeah.
So there was no hope. There's no one that could have saved the writing and the directing of this movie.
They tried. I mean, like I think with the exception, well, actually, let me take that back.
Except Ruther.
Two people acting wise tried to save this movie. David Cornsweet is Superman, in my opinion. Jason Momoa is Lobo. Millie Alcock just kind of went along with what they gave her. I don't think she was like trying to save the script. I don't put me not liking the character on her though. It's the script that
Yeah.
she was given. I don't really think that's the actress's fault, in my opinion. And I think if you take her, Supergirl, and give her a better script, she'll come across a lot better than how she did in this
I
movie.
think she would have been I think with a better script, I think it would have been amazing.
Yes.
But like you said, and I think with them starting with Superman so early, like I said, if this had been 4 or 5 years and you got Superman going off world, then I'd be like, okay, some of these things are making sense. It makes sense that hey, they discovered somehow because he ended up here that he loses his powers.
Yeah.
But these motherfuckers are warping. These motherfuckers got light speed travel, all types of shit. That it, like I said, it would have made sense if this was later in Superman's career when she came aboard. Which again, in a lot of comics, one of my favorite animated movies. Yeah, I wish I could remember the name of it right now, which is crazy because I just seen it on my Amazon Prime or not Amazon Prime, but what is it? Max? I just seen it on Max. So where Supergirl comes to Earth and they stash her with Wonder Woman because she needs to learn how to control her powers and all this good shit. And Batman's trying to figure out like, hey, what we need to do to her. But basically, at the end of the movie, Darkseid comes along, right? And him and fucking Superman get to it. But also, Supergirl gets to it with this nigga because again, she has her powers. Like she knows how to control her powers now. I think, and it didn't even have to be to that extent, but I think her learning how to control her powers and her dealing with the grief of losing her people would have been a much better story than I have to save my dog. Okay, John Wick.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just very disappointing. I had higher expectations for this movie than what we got. Once again, I didn't even come into it with like super high expectations. When I saw it, I was like, this is very not entertaining. There's some background noise for me. Um,
Ooh,
yeah, it's just not something that I'd care to watch again. Didn't keep me interested at all the entire time I was watching it. And there's really, like I said, only two characters in this movie that provided any sort of entertainment value for me. A was Lobo, and B is Superman, who you only see from across the screen. You never actually see him in person in this movie. So
you see him in
back
flashbacks,
yeah, and flashbacks too.
but they really quick.
Yeah, so, yeah, very quick background, a low medium to low background noise for me. Don't waste y'all time on this one. Watch it when it comes out on streaming. It'll be cool. This is a movie that's cool if you didn't get in your
Uh,
car and drive to a movie theater and pay money to see it.
I'm not gonna go as low as you. I'm looking at it in terms. I'm taking our rating and putting it in terms of numbers. I'm going to give it a low polite applause. And I'm giving it a low polite applause because again, because it is the second movie. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do high background noise.
I was about to say, what did you applaud in this movie?
And I was about to say I'm giving it that because it's setting up a world, but it's really not setting up a world
So yeah,
that we're going to get. It was just boring, dog. Like I really wanted to like this. Um, I didn't think this was gonna be amazing. I didn't think this was gonna be some fucking blockbuster.
yeah.
I don't
It's
know if they cut things, but with what we got, it just didn't do it for me.
Yeah, no, 100%, agreed 100%, and word of mouth on this is not helping either. I think it made, like, only 38 million opening weekend, which is
Nah,
terrible. It's terrible. I was expecting I think on its best day, this movie had a shot at making maybe a 55-60 million dollar opening weekend, which would've been decent for a movie for this type of film. 38, this is gonna for sure flop. So let us know if y'all have seen Supergirl. If not, I really don't blame you and not encouraging you to go do so either. Um, and since we're a couple movies into the DCU now, what DCU property are you looking forward to the most? So it's hard to rank. We only got two movies of this new DCU now. So, but we're gonna look forward of the properties that we have, or the ones that we know are gonna be, and I'll include Batman 2 in there. So even though I know this Batman isn't gonna be a part of the DCU, I'll include that since that's just an upcoming DC property. So what DC property are y'all looking forward to the most? Always continue to like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate all the support. And until next time, this is the Real Junkies. Peace.